The honourable member for Calgary Foothills.
Mr. Speaker, for decades the NDP and its ideological WOSAG members railed against pipelines. The result? 60% of British Columbia voters now support political parties opposed to pipelines. While the NDP in Alberta had a conversion on the road to the government, their provincial cousins to the east and west would cause a train wreck to derail Alberta's economic recovery. Can the Deputy Premier explain how the NDP is rolling back decades of pipeline opposition to get British Columbians on side?
The Honourable Deputy Premier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and to the member for an opportunity to talk about how proud we are of the great progress we've been making in getting approvals for pipelines to new markets, Mr. Speaker. That includes, of course, getting new market access on the West Coast. Right now, our Premier is continuing to work to make sure that Asia-Pacific markets are welcoming, and she was in British Columbia earlier meeting with a number of individuals, and we're going to continue to work to honour their concerns, but make sure that we get new market access, which failed to happen under Conservative governments both in Ottawa and Alberta.
First supplemental.
Mr. Speaker, given the NDP held a press conference to attack the Saskatchewan budget while erecting a tariff wall and sparking a trade war with Saskatchewan over the beer, and given the Premier of British Columbia launched her re-election bid by lambasting the government of Alberta on how bad Alberta's finances are under the NDP, to the Deputy Premier, you have isolated Alberta on trade and created enemies out of allies. How are you going to repair our intergovernmental relationships?
Honourable Deputy Premier.
Every day we're going to stand up for Alberta families and work to make their lives better, Mr. Speaker. And that's why we are so proud that with thoughtful, reasonable collaboration with a number of individuals, including oil and gas executives, Mr. Speaker, that they're on side. For example, this morning, energy CEOs praise Alberta's carbon tax at Calgary Chamber event, Mr. Speaker. Business leaders speaking at the Calgary Chamber of Commerce event were empathetic, saying a carbon tax makes sense, Mr. Speaker. They went on to say that this government's doing the right thing and they're proud to invest in Alberta, Mr. Speaker. We're proud that they're investing here and we're getting new market access, Mr. Speaker.
Second supplemental.
Mr. Speaker, given the Premier's appointees on her oil sands advisory group are busy trying to stop Alberta Oil by making instructional videos on how to stop pipeline construction, and given the industry uncertainty spurred by the NDP's cap on our oil sands development is stopping investment and killing jobs, when will the Premier deliver consequences to these radical taxpayer-funded WOSAG members who are trying to stop pipelines in BC instead of doing their job here in Alberta?
The Deputy Premier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I have to say, I am so proud of our reputation and the work that we're doing to make life better for Alberta families, including Tim McMillan, who I have respect for, from Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers, who said Canada's reputation as a place that can move projects forward took a step forward today. We have seen today that our government supports energy projects that meet the high standards that we expect here in Canada, Mr. Speaker. We also have at the Calgary Chamber others saying from Hathaway Energy, Alberta has struck a nice middle ground on a carbon tax and electricity generation. He said, we have a fund.
Thank you, Deputy Premier.